Hi friends, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Well, guess what? I did it again. I bought more hydrangeas. But in my defense, I have a hole in the hydrangea room that needs another hydrangea. Now, I might have created this hole by transplanting that hydrangea to another area, but no matter what the situation, there's always room for one more hydrangea. So we're going to plant an invincible ruby hydrangea today, and I have some footage to show you of a ruby I have in my garden that is mature, and I'll share some footage of it in full bloom because the color is just phenomenal. But before we get started, I think a lot of flowers are in bloom that weren't in bloom the last time you saw my garden. Even the ranunculus. What is Grace getting around to? I'm really scared what she's getting around to. Even the ranunculus are blooming at the moment. So let's take a look around the garden and then we'll plant this new hydrangea together. So I think all the peonies are almost on their way out at this point. I planted Felix Kraus on Bunker Hill here 3 years ago, and I cannot figure out which is which. This is the first year they really started to bloom with abundance, and all these sunny days are kind of pushing them out of bloom. If I back up, we do have some ambassador alliums in bloom now. Aren't those gorgeous? And the bees are just absolutely loving these. I think even Christophii has started to open over in the driveway garden. Let's see if Grace will lead the way back to the hydrangea room for us. Right next to Grace is Pinball Wizard. Behind the fountain we have that Festiva Maxima in bloom. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. This peony was here when we moved in. It was buried in shade, and so I've been dividing it over the years and spreading it out through the garden. Now the white color doesn't really match my new color palette, so I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to move these white peonies to. Maybe to the hydrangea room, but I'm not sure that I have enough space, and I'm not sure I have enough space in the sun is the main thing. Here's another really beautiful peony that I'm really getting to enjoy for the first time. This one is called Sorbet. Isn't that one gorgeous? I think this is the first time that it's ever bloomed, but lots of peonies everywhere. Those alliums back there aren't in bloom yet. That's pretty much full shade at this point. Let me also update you. Look at the Kousa dogwood right now. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love the May garden. I think we could walk around the May garden every day and something new would be in bloom. Let me show you how the stones look after I painted them with that yogurt. It does seem like it aged them a bit. So I'm glad that worked. It hasn't rained here in a while, surprisingly, so the yogurt is still on the stones. And here's a look from this direction. All the Catman hedges are in bloom now. And so we'll be working over here in the hydrangea room today. We have some Orlea in bloom. Mount Everest allium is pretty much going out of bloom, but if you're looking for a honeysuckle that's not invasive, that smells amazing, I highly recommend this one that I planted last year. It's called Sensational Honeysuckle. I've been trying to get my hands on 3 more. I've visited multiple nurseries, and for some reason they have all had spider mites on them, or some kind of pest issue all on the ones at the nursery around here, which was kind of strange because I'm not dealing with any of that here at home, but hopefully I can find 3 more healthy plants so we can put them on the other side. I'm also thinking too, if you did anything maybe with sensory gardening or maybe hort therapy, I just think sensational honeysuckle might be something really great to add into those type of gardens because the smell is so wonderful. Even if you can't see this plant, you can smell it just as you walk by. In fact, I watered all the snapdragons this morning, and every time I just walk by this area, I wasn't even walking through the area, I was just walking past it, I got that amazing honeysuckle smell. Anemones are in bloom. But here's the hole that I created. So last year we planted this incredible hydrangea, Haas Halo, and we had also planted an Invincible Spirit 2 hydrangea right here where this hole is. But in order to make that U hedge work with my hydrangea hedge, I needed one more mature Invincible Spirit 2. And when I measured it, it was the same size. So that hydrangea is over there now. So we'll just be filling in that hole together. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at how the ranunculus are doing. The snapdragons still are not in bloom. I'm getting some more cuts from the Sweet William, and lots of the other cool flowers are in bloom, Orlea, bachelor's buttons. So there are some issues here with the colors that I ordered, but I believe what we're looking at on some of these, I believe this is Aviv Cafe. And I'll try to correct myself on the screen if I'm wrong. And then I think this is Aviv Pink White. And that was a mix, so a lot of them look different from one another. But there is supposed to be a section over here where there's only Merlot ranunculus, and it looks like we have a little bit of a mix-up over here. But the good news is that over here where I also have the pink-white mix, these are looking pretty good. So we'll have to see if we want to cut these and sell them for Memorial Day, or if we want to keep on selling peonies, because I still do have more peonies in the fridge. This one is almost a pure white with a little bit of lemon and pink in it. And then this one is more of a light pink with yellow as you go toward the center. Then in this mix there was some pure pink, some pure white, because I had moved a lot of these over to the hydrangea annex. So I guess it's going to be a continual surprise about what color we end up with over here. I've sold Orlea at the flower stand when it's white like this. Although what I realized last year, since it's so hot here come early June already and the flowers are out there in the heat, it seems better for my particular situation to cut them once they form seed pod and turn green, because then they're super strong. They last forever in the vase, versus sometimes there are issues with Orlea flopping. Even if you do everything right conditioning wise, once they sit in the heat all day, you're kind of just working against nature. The bachelor's buttons are looking good, but my eye just keeps going to that Coosa dogwood in the background. There's some bupleurum that probably seeded itself in here from a previous year. And then we have our blue bachelor's buttons in here. Still waiting on all of these snapdragons. From the looks of it, we probably have a week and a half to 2 weeks longer until we can cut these. So the tag on Invincible Ruby says 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, and I'll show you mine that's been in the ground for about 3 years in 1 second. I would say mine is probably almost at 4 feet tall and wide at this point. But the reason why I really love Invincible Ruby is because it maintains that nice deep ruby color for much longer than some of the other smooth pink hydrangeas. So if you're growing, I think it's called Incredible Blush. I grew that once, but I unfortunately lost it. And then of course I have lots of Invincible Spirit too. Those kind of fade to green relatively quickly, but my ruby stays that beautiful, more deep red for a longer amount of time before eventually turning to green. So what do you say, Grace? Are you ready to plant a brand new hydrangea? Grace is always interested in more hydrangeas, right, Grace? Let's go. So here's our brand new Invincible Ruby that we're going to plant in just a second. And here's the Invincible Ruby that I've had. It's been at least 3 years, possibly 4, but I think 3 is probably more accurate. So I've decided to press ahead on the evergreen hedge that's located right behind where you guys are sitting right now. Also move ahead with the new fencing. And what we might do even before that is plant a short hedge of catmint around the raised bed deck. I think that's become something that's necessary as I see more and more people come over, especially the edges of the deck. Some of the stones are very sharp. So I think even more so than something that's going to look beautiful, it's become almost a safety issue. So I want to get that in as soon as possible. So probably maybe the first week of June, we're going to come in with a hedge of what I hope will be, I think it's called Cat's Pajamas Nepeta, and that is a shorter catmint that blooms closer to the base of the plant and then all the way up. This is going to be so beautiful with this deep, bright pink hydrangea right here. So now that I've had the pleasure of living with the hydrangea room for the spring, I noticed that I really do need some more color over here in late May. I had planted those Mount Everest alliums, but they just kind of blend in with the green too much, and I really want a pop, sharper color over in this garden. So I think next year I'm going to add in a lot more ambassador alliums into this area. They bloom right now. They're really nice, tight globes of florets. And I also like how ambassador leans a little bit more towards pinky purple than blue purple. Sorry that I'm out of breath. I think I need to start going to the gym. Actually, who am I kidding? I'm never going to the gym. I'd much rather put in another stone deck. Well, friends, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. A good day is always transformed into a great day when you plant a new hydrangea. At least it is for me. Let me know if it is for you. I guess we all have those plants in our lives that bring us joy, no matter how many of them we have in our garden. Well, friends, I want to wish you all a wonderful day. And Grace and I, as always, say, happy gardening. Bye.